What's going on, guys? Welcome back to We Want Picks. My name is Jacob, aka the Freckled Salamander, here to bring you my quick pick video for UFC Charlotte. But before we get into UFC Charlotte, let's reflect back on the UFC 288 because 4 in a row, lock of the week, Matt Frivola came through, and there was a lot of you running your mouths in the comments. It was a great week overall for We Want Picks. Angela was up units. Everything was going our way. I tripped up with the co-main, the main event. Gilbert Burns fighting with one arm. Henry Cejudo. Hey, I thought he won the fight. I thought that was 2-2 going into the fifth. I thought Henry won the fifth for sure. Seems like he might have got screwed, but you guys can let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree. If you want to become a premium member, go to WeWantPicks.com and become a premium member today. It is only $10 a month. It's got great value. My picks, Angel's picks, Arnold's picks, line movement, DraftKings. It's got everything you need to be successful for yourself. It's not just a lazy Patreon. WeWantPicks.com. Become a premium member today. Let's get into it. Quick pick video for UFC Charlotte. First up, we have Jessica Rose Clark versus Tainara Lisboa. What a name that is. I'm telling you right now, by the time this video is probably uploaded and available for YouTube, I imagine that Lisboa is going to be a favorite at that point. I got her plus 130 on Sunday. I don't know what she opened up at, but Jessica Rose Clark, listen, well-rounded fighter. Actually a pretty good striker, a good kickboxer, found some wrestling, started to kind of force the wrestling in the last couple fights and paid for it, right? Because she doesn't really have the jiu-jitsu aspect, so she got armbarred twice, and a lot of people are going to give her hell for that. I actually think that she's a pretty good fighter. I think she can withstand some wrestling and is a pretty good kickboxer, but against this girl Lisboa, I think that she's going to be the worst striker in what all that matters in this fight. It should be a mostly striking battle. I imagine that Jessica Rose Clark is going to kind of get away from the grappling after the back-to-back arm bars, and Lisboa is pretty well-versed on the ground as well, but Lisboa is a former Muay Thai champion. I mean, that was years ago, right? 2013, 2014, but it seems like she has carried that strike. I mean, if you don't forget that type of high-level striking going this matchup. She is ready. She looks like she's been training every single day. Not that Jessica Rose Clark hasn't, but when these newcomers are coming in, you don't know how they're going to react, but it looks like she's been waiting for this moment her entire life, and she should be the better striker in what is a mostly striking matchup. So I am all in on Lisboa this week. She's at minus 105 right now, still a slight dog. I'd grab her while you can. She's going to flip to the favorite. She's been moving like crazy. Give me Lisboa as the better striker in this matchup. Let's move. Green and Bryan battle. And this one's an interesting one, and the odds kind of reflect that as well. Bryan battle's coming in a little bit of a short notice situation, but he's good, man. I mean, Bryan battle is very well versed, very good everywhere, good off his back. Not great at defending takedowns, but he can stay safe off his back and has power in his hands. The issue with Bryan battle is he kind of fights that fight that Gabe Green likes to fight people that way. Bryan battle is against the fence, kind of taking his time, looking for spots. He's not that guy that's moving forward, and Gabe Green is exactly that guy that is just going to keep moving forward. He's going to throw in mixture of combinations, maybe throw in a takedown or two, and he's super durable. So outside of Bryan battle finding one of those big shots that you saw, that big head kick knockout that he had, I just don't see him putting away Gabe Green, and Gabe Green's just going to be in his face, throwing the volume. And you kind of saw that with Bryan battle against Tresean Gore. If somebody's just in his face, even if they're not throwing anything, he will just kind of stay against the fence, and Gabe Green will actually throw the volume to be able to win this fight. So this is a close fight. I like Gabe Green and his toughness and his volume. I don't think he's going to be able to get put away, and therefore I see him winning a decision in this matter, in this fight. Give me Gabe Green in this matchup. Let's move on. We have Kim versus Mandy Bohm, and the fact of the matter is Mandy Bohm thinks she's a lot better than what she is. There's a few girls that are kind of, I think every fighter probably thinks that they're better than they are, but she really thinks that she's better than she is. I mean, she presents herself as kind of this high-level striking, but her striking is pretty sloppy, and she kind of slows down, and she engages in these weird clinch situations. Listen, I think this is a Kim play all the way. It's hard to believe a 9-6 fighter can be almost a 250 favorite, but in this matchup, she should be. She's tough. She's got the volume. Mandy can't really put her away. I don't see Mandy with power. She doesn't really have power to put girls away, so she needs the volume and the technique, and Kim's going to have the volume, and Kim's going to have the technique. So unless Mandy comes in with like a completely different game plan and maybe tries to like offensive wrestle or something like that, but she's a striker. She's a sloppy striker, and Kim should be there with the counter shots. The more volume, the better accuracy, and it should be a sloppy affair, but Kim should get it done. Let's move on to the next one. Natan Levy versus Pete Rodriguez, and I was all over Pete Rodriguez. 2 weeks ago, I was all over Pete Rodriguez. He's gonna be my lock of the week. He still might be my lock of the week. The fight change is a little bit concerning. I don't think it was weight cut issues. It sounded like he was having things going on with his grandmother. 12 hours later, the fight dropped. They said it was an illness, but I don't think it was a weight cut because this is his first fight down at 155, and I can't remember if it's a career or a long time anyway. But listen, I think Pete Rodriguez has the best capabilities to beat a guy like Natan Levy because Pete Rodriguez wants to get in your face and he wants to box, and he throws really, really good combinations from both stances as well. And Natan Levy does not like that. Natan Levy wants to stay clean. He wants to be able to throw those kicks. And if he cannot throw those kicks and you crowd those kicks, now he's a boxer, and he is not a very good boxer. Pete is going to be the better boxer. So Natan Levy, he does going to have the grappling advantage. If he comes in and shooting takedowns early, not good for Pete. But I think he's going to box. Natan has shown time and time again that he won't shoot takedowns until he's either, losing a situation where he's getting pressure and he needs it, or he's starting to get tired and he uses the wrestling kind of take a break. So I'm going to take Pete Rodriguez again. I'm not going to give up on my boy at this point. I think he's the better boxer. And if he crowds Natan Levy and turns this into a boxing match, he can definitely win it and put this dude away because Natan Levy is hittable. I posted all the highlights a few weeks ago. This dude is hittable. And if Pete Rodriguez hits him, coming down from 170, 155, looks fantastic at a great camp as well. MMA Lab, I'm taking Pete Rodriguez in this matchup. Carlos Ulberg and Ihor, and I'll tell you right now, Carlos Ulberg, I get it. He's the play. He's the more technical fighter. This should be absolutely a complete kickboxing match, and Ulberg is the more technical kickboxer. He's going to be my pick. I don't want to get it twisted that I'm saying anything good about Ihor, except I will say this. Ihor is better than people give him credit for. He looks sloppy in there. He looks like he lacks some days to go hands low. He will get tired, and Ulberg should be able to find that that spot and that shot to be able to really hurt Ihor, to kind of break him down, and then he eventually will just kind of like welter and wilt underneath the pressure of Ulberg, and he should be able to put him away. But Ihor does throw some decent combination. He does have some decent power in his hands, and it looks a little bit weird when he does it, but sometimes against super technical guys like Ulberg, it's those weird guys that find weird shots because the technical guys that box technically don't expect shots to come from certain angles. So I expect Ulberg to take his time, do what he does, dance around, pick him apart. And Ihor is going to be the guy that's probably going to be the aggressive guy throwing the wild stuff, and Ulberg should be there for the counters. But I'm telling you right now, Potieria, Ihor, Potieria, I'm telling you, he's better than people are giving him credit for in this matchup, but this should be an Ulberg play because he is a better kickboxer in what should be basically a kickboxing match. Let's move on to the next one. Cody Stamann versus Douglas da Silva Day. I'm struggling today. Cody Stamann versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. And I feel like this is going to be a mostly boxing matchup as well. And I got to go with Cody in that matchup. Listen, Andrade is starting to bring in the wrestling and the grappling a little bit more, getting up in age, 36, 37 years old, getting dropped in his last couple fights. If he comes in and tries to wrestle Cody, that might be the best path to victory. Because if you start changing your levels and then you come with the power, that's when you're going to find the shots. Because if Andrade is coming in just trying to beat Cody with power, he's not going to win that fight. Because Cody is a very good boxer and is just constantly moving. He's not going to be able to find that power shot with Cody's constant movement. But if he's mixing in some takedowns, and I don't know if he's going to be able to take down Cody because Cody's got a good wrestling base with very good boxing as well. But if he starts mixing in level changes and then tries to find that power shot, that would be the path to victory in my mind for Andrade. But if this is just staring at each other, pure boxing, Andrade is going to have the power advantage. But at 135, I know he's got a lot of finishes, but the way that Cody moves in and out and just constantly boom, 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 in and out, and very good boxing, and not only good boxing, but good boxing in the pocket. Those combinations, keeps his hands up, slipping, staying safe in the pocket is what I like for Cody. So I actually really like him in this matchup. I think he is the better boxer in what should be the mostly boxing matchup. He might defend a few takedowns, but I think he's going to stay clean in this matchup and win a technical decision. So I'm going with Cody Stamann in this matchup. Let's move on. Carl Williams versus Chase Sherman. This is pretty cut and dry, right? I mean, Carl Williams is going to come in, shoot his blast doubles, get Chase to the ground, and probably finish him. The only question mark I have for this fight is we've seen Carl get tired in fights. Now, he's not a guy that's going to quit, right? Some people get tired and they quit. Carl is going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. You know what I mean? He's one of those type of guys that just got boom, boom, boom. But when he does get tired, he does kind of get a little bit more sloppy. And there is a world where Karl is shooting takedowns, Chase is able to survive, and then Chase is laying on just volume, late second into the third round to kind of steal the fight away. But I don't think that's going to happen at all. I just want to keep that in mind. You know, there is a world where Karl does kind of slow down and Chase comes over with the volume. But I think Karl's going to get him down and really find one of those finishes that he's been looking for lately and really kind of dominate this fight. That's why the odds are the way they are. Should be able to take him down. Chase has really shown nothing as far as the defensive grappling goes, and he's not really a one-punch power guy anyway. He's a volume type of heavyweight. So I'm going Carl Williams in this matchup. We'll see how it plays out. Let's move on. Matt Bryan versus Court McGee. And Court McGee at minus 220, minus 240, whatever he's at right now. I don't even, let me check it right now so I can get the right number. Court McGee minus 225. You're playing Court McGee minus 225 against a guy as tough as Matt Bryan. I understand he's 42 years old. Doesn't look 42. I mean, his last few fights have looked pretty good. His striking looks good. The clinch work looks good. He's had some nice trips, some nice takedowns, some good top pressure. And I know Court McGee is like the younger guy, but he's 37 years old. Just got absolutely put out cold in his last fight. He's going to have the power advantage, but if the power doesn't work and this turns into one of those slobber knockers, which it absolutely could, I'm going to take Matt Bryan in that fight 10 out of 10 times. I mean, I think that Matt Bryan comes in, closes the distance, and does what Matt Bryan does. Gets in the clinch, throws those elbows. Matt Bryan is so good. Everything he does is so sneaky. Every shot he throws, the weird elbows, the weird dirty boxing, the inside trips with the takedowns, everything he does just it's so sneaky the way that he gets everything off, and he doesn't look like he's really slowing down. Like, obviously he's getting a little bit slower, but against Court McGee, I don't think it's going to matter. You know, Court McGee's going to come in, maybe try to offensive wrestle, get on top, but I think he's in a world of rude awakening. What? And I think he's in for a rude awakening. Jesus Christ. I think he's in for a rude awakening for this fight versus Matt Bryan. I think Matt Bryan's going to do a Matt Bryan fight. The immortal Matt Bryan will just tough this out, throw the elbows, cut him up, maybe get some takedowns and wear down Court McGee and pull this one out. So I think it's basically a pick'em fight. So I'm not paying the minus 225 on that side, but I might look at the Matt Bryan side going into this card. But let's move on to the next one. Tim Means versus Alex Morono. And I know that Alex got finished in his last fight. That was like a 4-day notice fight, catch weight, that he was dominating. I mean, he was really, really dominating Ponzinibbio in that fight. And let me say something too. If you guys do not know, Alex is probably the most high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner in the UFC that you've never heard of. This dude is like a double black belt jiu-jitsu. So if Tim Means wants to go to the ground and this finds a way to ground, just let it be known, Alex is the better grappler of the two. So then it becomes a stand-up game. Who is the better striker? I think Alex is the better striker too. I don't think that Tim Means is going to have anything for Alex Morono. Alex got knocked out in his last fight because of short notice. He started getting a little bit lackadaisical in his defense. You could see he was breathing a little bit heavy, getting a little bit overextending in his shots in that third round. He got caught, right? Against a very good striker in Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio is a very good technical striker, and Alex Morono was still outstriking him up to that point on 4 days' notice. I love Alex Morono in this matchup versus the Dirty Bird. I respect the Dirty Bird. He's a tough dude, but Alex Morono's got power in his hands. You can't out-grapple the dude, and the way that he has that high guard and his bouncy stance, and the way he throws that jab, and he's got that big power behind it, I think he can absolutely dominate this matchup versus the Dirty Bird. So Alex is going to be my pick in this matchup. D-Rod versus Ian Garry. I love D-Rod, right? And I think these odds are super, super disrespectful. I mean, he lost to Neil Magny. He ended up getting taken down. If he didn't get taken down in that last round, he was going to win that fight. He was my lock of the week. I'm a big D-Rod fan. This is a very close fight. I will say that Ian Garry is not your prototypical undefeated fighter, right? Because I'll sit here every week and tell you guys, undefeated, but we don't know how he reacts to adversity. We don't know how she is going to react if it gets out of the first round. Ian Garry's been there, done that. I mean, he's had the tough early adversity in fights. He's had the 3-round decisions where he's had to work through a tough opponent and has gotten decision wins. In his last fight, got knocked down in the first round. You know what? He didn't panic. He knocked out. You could tell immediately, the second he hit the canvas, he knew what to do. Let me get to the fence. Let me stay safe. When he got back to his stool, he told his corner, when he got back to his stool, he told his corner immediately, hey, that was my fault. I overextended. I'm not going to let it happen again. He was very in the moment. He didn't panic. He came out. He stayed a little bit more technical in the second round. But once he gets in the flow and once he is free flowing, there is hardly anyone in this division that is going to outstrike Ian Garry. And unfortunately for D-Rod, I see that kind of happening. I like D-Rod. He's a good boxer. We'll see if he maybe tries to mix in some grappling. You know, maybe that's a little bit of a wild card when it comes to fighting a guy like Ian Garry, but he's shown pretty good takedown defense on his own right. He'll even kind of offensive wrestle if he needs to, but this is probably going to be Ian Garry taking his time, D-Rod the one working forward, you know, throwing out that jab, throwing out combinations, but eventually Ian Garry is going to find those counter shots. I don't know if he's going to put D-Rod away, but he's going to be able to do enough to kind of beat up D-Rod, and then D-Rod's one of those dudes that might get even more aggressive. He's a proud dude. He knows he's a good fighter. He probably feels disrespected by these odds. Who's this young kid, undefeated fighter? But Ian Garry, I'm telling you guys, I don't like him as a person. He seems like kind of a douchebag. He's got that whole, like, he's trying to be Conor, but he's not Conor. But I'm telling you right now that you guys need to start respecting this kid because he is no joke and he is the real deal fighter. And he's going to be my pick for this matchup. I just think that D-Rad's going to come in, try to be a little bit too aggressive, and that works in perfect against a counter striker like Ian Garry. So I got to go Ian Garry in this matchup. I do still think that the odds are disrespectful for D-Rod. It should probably be like a minus 150 for Ian Garry, but let's move on to the next one. Anthony Smith versus Johnny Walker. And this is basically a pick'em, and it should be. Johnny Walker should be a pick'em for basically every fight. I don't care who he fights. If it's up against John Jones, he should be a pick'em because this dude is unreal talented, right? I mean, unreal power, athletic, good grappling, but it's his chin. People just don't know. Is his chin still there? I mean, he fought Kutalaba, never really tested his chin. They went to the ground. He won a scramble, choked him out. Then he fought Paul Craig, didn't really test his chin. And Anthony Smith, I don't know if he can test his chin. Anthony Smith has been there, done that. He's very well versed everywhere. He's a decent striker, very good on the ground. But at times when I'm watching Anthony Smith, it almost feels like this is the difference between these two fighters. Anthony Smith, to me, when he is in there, it's like he's always thinking. Everything he does is like, oh, okay, what do I do next? 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 And you saw that against Ankalaev. And I understand he blew out his ankle. He hurt his ankle against Ankalaev. But even early in that fight, it's like, oh, shit, what do I do now? Should I throw this? Should I throw this? Okay, he just threw that. Where if you watch a guy like Johnny Walker's not thinking in the octagon. He is just free flowing and reacting. Honestly, I think that's the difference in this fight. I think Johnny Walker is going to go in there free flowing, bouncing around, and just be a little bit more loose in this fight, where Anthony Smith is just going to be a little bit more tight. And against a guy like Johnny Walker, you kind of just got to let it go. You have to kind of match his free flowing and just assume that you're going to touch his chin. And if you touch his chin, you're probably going to knock him out. But I think that Anthony Smith is going to come in, this is another one of those fights where he has to win to maintain his status as one of those guys at the 205 division. I think he comes in, is a little bit tense. Johnny Walker finds some success early. Maybe it goes to the ground, but you can't really trust it. I'm not going to ever put money on Johnny Walker. I think the odds are correct. It's a complete pick'em. But for my pick, I got to go with Johnny Walker in this matchup. I just feel like he's a little bit more free-flowing in there. He's going to find the power shots to maybe break down Anthony Smith, maybe work some grappling in after the fact, and find a way to get this done. But if Anthony Smith comes in and just throws a nice 1-2, I mean, honestly, just get in his face and throw some 1-2, boom, 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 boom. And just eventually you're going to touch the chin, and you got to assume if he touches chin, he's going to get put out. Other people have done it, but I got to go with Johnny Walker in this matchup. Main event time, we got Bigi Boy versus Jailton Almeida, and I understand Jailton Almeida should win this fight. Now, I almost was looking for a reason to pick Bigi Boy. I went and rewatched that Curtis Blades fight because Curtis Blades took him down. He got back to his feet. But the thing that is a little bit concerning in that Bigi Boy getting back to his feet is he was giving up his back to get back to his feet, right? And that's how most heavyweights do it. I mean, they get to the fence, they get to their knees, they give up their back, they get up, they break the hands, they separate, right? And prototypically against other wrestlers, and worked against Curtis Blades, you can go through those progressions to get back to your feet. Against a guy like Almeida, who is such a high-level grappler, the second you even try to give up your back to get back to your feet, he's gonna jump on your back, he's gonna keep you down, he's gonna flatten you out. Curtis Blades doesn't have the jiu-jitsu that Almeida has. So if Rozenstruik is gonna get taken down and he's gonna try and get back to his feet by giving up his back, he's gonna get choked out. He's gonna lose his fight. The biggest question mark is two things for this fight. Jailton Almeida, if you guys go watch the fights, his last like 4 or 5 fights, he does the exact same thing to start the fight. He throws a front kick, right? Boom. Front kick up the middle, and then he comes in with a blast double. Exact same combination. And you saw Shamil waiting for it last fight. The front kick came, and Shamil loaded up a left hand and clocked Jailton. Jailton ate it, right? But it was a little bit of like an oh shit moment. If Jailton comes in and throws a front kick and blast double, I have no question that Jairzinho is going to be sitting there with either a hook or an uppercut just waiting for this guy. And if Jairzinho lands against Jailton, he is going to be absolutely put out. The other thing is, Bigi Boy came in his last fight and just blitzed Dawkins. I mean, boom, boom, let's fight, boom, blitzed him and just absolutely knocked him out. I think he's going to do the same thing. Whether he can find the knockout is yet to be seen. But I think Bigi Boy's going to be like, listen, if I sit back and just wait for the takedown, I'm probably going to get taken down, right? I mean, he's going to scoop my legs. This guy's a powerful guy. And once I'm on the ground, it's bad news. So I'm going to press him. I'm going to push him. I'm going to press him. And basically kind of do what Francis did to Jairzinho. Francis just kind of blitzed Jairzinho and got in his face and found the knockout. I think Bigi Boy comes in, let's fight, no glove touch, just rush in, boom, 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 boom. And if he lands, he can't knock this dude out. But there's a reason the odds are the way they are. Almeida can come in, get the takedown, and once he gets the takedown, he should have the control, and he should be able to find the finish there. But, I mean, Jailton Almeida is one of those guys. He's a 205er that realized, if I can fight these slow heavyweights, just take him down and dominate him. He did it once on a catchweight, and was like, oh, this is easy. But he's going to start running into issues. He's a 205er. And once he starts fighting these high-level heavyweights that know what they're doing, he is going to run into some issues with just trying to muscle everyone to the ground. But I don't think Bigi Boy is going to be that. We'll see if Bigi Boy comes in, blitzes, and is able to find that connection. But I got to go with Almeida in this matchup. I'm not super high confidence like everyone else is. I do respect Bigi Boy and what he has to offer in the kickboxing, in the power. I go with Almeida in this matchup. I want to thank you guys so much for watching my quick pick video for UFC Charlotte. Make sure you leave a like before you go. Subscribe if you are new. Go to WeWantPicks.com. Become a premium member today. Only $10 a month. My name is Jacob, a.k.a. the Freckled Salamander, and I'm out.